informative, and LM Communications broadcasting station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
I feel the same. I've always thought you're absolutely the best and always enjoyed being around you. And
listen to Alan Cutler, folks. He is. It's a pleasure for me, an honor to be on here with such a legend.
Everything you said was absolutely 100% correct.
Man, is this the great Alan Cutler? Is this the infamous Alan Cutler?
Of all the broadcast television people that I've encountered, you are among the absolute elite.
Cut to the chase has a 5-length lead past the 16th pole. Cut to the chase. Victor Espinoza to win it.
Continue doing what you're doing. You're really good at it.
I talk on many radio shows, and you are the best.
Be nice, America. Just have a great day.
Sorry, we have no filter.
I'm Cutler. I wrote Cut to the Chase. Not a good book, not a great book, a spectacular book.
You're a legend here in Kentucky.
You know I love you, man. I mean, you and I have a unique relationship.
Alan Cutler Show all the way, brother.
This is going to sound like really, I think because of me, to be honest. I think because of me.
Hey, let's give it up right here. This is my guy. Yes. I'm so happy to see you.
And keep being impactful. Your name and your vision mean a lot in this state and around the region. So keep doing your thing, Al. I'm a big fan.
You bring a lot of joy to this game, man. Like you bring a lot of joy to the Cats. Yeah, I got a lot of love for you, brother.
Just continue to tell myself that God always has a plan. It's not up to me if I get hurt. It's always not up to me. So just going back to the drawing board and just getting better and keeping my faith in God, really.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler, honored and pleased to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me, whether it's live now, anywhere in the country, or outside the country, or on podcast anywhere in the world, later today, tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you if you are inclined to do, telling one friend. That one soundbite we played after the Open was from Sam Green, who I think is an interesting football player. He had trouble adjusting to here. We might play that soundbite later today or tomorrow. And by the way, that's not negative. You come from USC, you come in here. It's different kind of football, okay? And it took him a while, and he really was coming on last year. He's a big man. He's an edge rusher, and he's 6'2" and 251, and he can move, and he'll hit you. And he was playing really, really well. And he tore his ACL and a slight tear of his meniscus. It happened against Florida way back around turkey time last November. And he's still not 100% healthy, but the way he's putting in, he's hoping to be on the field to start off. He's a good player, and they could really use him. And when you just see him, he doesn't look like your average linebacker. He's a big man. So just wanted to throw it out there. I liked what he said about his faith. And, come on. He's a kid. He wants to be on the field. It's driving him crazy, and that's understandable. There's so many things on my list, but we're going to start with the Tommy John story that we did yesterday. And we're going to play the clip in a second. And Tommy John, who just passed, in an interview about 5 years ago on an Indiana site, talked about how there were tons of schools, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys, and whatever, were recruiting him, and that Adolph Rupp came to his house and his dad threw him out, told him to leave. And as I mentioned yesterday, when I first saw the story on Facebook, I just didn't believe it, because there's so much crap on Facebook. I'm not ripping Facebook, but there's so much crap on Facebook. It's ridiculous. And there's been a lot of sports stories I've seen on there that I know are not true without even checking it out. And some I have checked out. Well, it turned out to be true. Okay? So we're going to play the soundbite, and then I'm going to have a couple comments about the other side of the story, which I found fascinating. So Tommy John, who should be in the Hall of Fame in baseball, not just because the surgery is named after him, but he almost won 300 games. He pitched 26 years in the big leagues. He was a big-time basketball player, which I honestly didn't know, and I followed him his entire career, basically, which is interesting. And so Rupp tries to recruit him. Now, remember, he's an Indiana kid, okay? Rupp tries to recruit him, and Rupp met with his father. Here it is.
Rupp, being the genius that he was, he said, well, we've got an outstanding baseball team. We've got an outstanding baseball team. Your son might not even be able to make the Kentucky team. Well, now, if you're trying to sell somebody on your product and you tell them that you might not be able to use that product, and my dad got up and he said, Coach Rupp, I've never liked you. Howard Dardeen told me stories about you when he was at Kentucky. I've never liked you then. I don't like you now. Do you see that door? Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out. And Rupp jumped up and he marched out the door, and they went to the car, and then the assistant coach came back in and he said, Mr. John, Coach Rupp's been through a lot of hard times, pressure, and he probably should not have said what he said. So don't hold that against him. Keep an open mind if you would. My dad said, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And when I got home from playing golf, he told me the story. And I said, so it looks like I'm not going to Kentucky, huh? He said, you better not.
Now, here's another side to the coin. Before I do that, Craig Skinner is going to be joining us at 12:15. Kenny Rice, we had lunch the other day at 12:30. Kenny Skywalker at 1 o'clock. And Kenny Rice and Sky are dear, dear friends. Jenna Lifshin, oh my, the stuff that she's doing, it's really amazing. She will be joining us after that. And then my buddy, the Hall of Famer, Hal McCoy. So it's interesting how this worked out. It's only been a couple times when I've had 5 guests in the show, but we are packed and we are loaded and we are excited. Now, let me get to the other side of the story. I consider Chip Rupp a personal friend. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I respect Chip tremendously. And we were texting up and back today. And then I asked him, you okay if I use this? And he said, you're welcome to use this. And I wouldn't do it what he's requesting anyway. I'm not doing this because of Chip. I'm doing it because that's how I feel in my heart. I don't know how many people, as great as his grandfather was, and the roadmap he did with basketball and the national championships in Rupp Arena and all that kind of stuff, I don't know how anyone could handle the fact that Rupp was so polarizing as well as he has. Okay? And he is not thin-skinned. He's realistic. Here's what he said. One, he wasn't upset. And if Chip was, he would tell me. It's a story, okay? It's somebody's opinions. Here's what I find fascinating. Olivia, I'm curious if you read this way too. His father, Herky, who I knew and was really kind to me, and I've told the story before, he was actually supposed to go to Duke, where his father, Adolph, was going to be the Duke coach after he left UK, and Herky then in the contract was going to become the Duke coach, and then Adolph didn't take the job when he was about to show up because he lost his farm manager. It's a true story. Did it on TV with Herky telling the story. It's crazy. Some of the things in history that, every time I've told the story, somebody will say something to me, is that AI? Or, I never heard that. Well, I can't help you haven't heard it. It's a true story. Neither here nor there. So Herky, Chip's dad, son of Adolph, was a big Tommy John fan, which is interesting. So I'm just throwing it out there. If Adolph Rupp was thrown out of the house, and I'm not questioning what Tommy John said. Nope. If Herky, who had to know about this, okay, had to know. There's no way he didn't know. He was a big fan of Tommy John. I found that interesting that Chip's dad was a big fan. Seriously. And then Chip also said, if his dad, meaning Tommy John, really felt that strongly about Rupp, why would he be allowed to narrow down the list to include Kentucky and grant an in-home visit? And by the way, Chip says, I'm not saying this is not 100% accurate, okay? And he also says, I've always been very consistent that my grandfather was a polarizing figure and not everybody loved him. All true. All true. So just throwing it out there. I have no reason not to believe Tommy John. I did find it fascinating, though, that Herky, Chip's dad, son of Adolf, was a big Tommy John fan. You would think if this story were true, again, I'm not questioning that the story isn't true. If you think it was true, you wouldn't think that Chip's dad would be such a big fan of Tommy John. That's all. I just find it interesting. Very interesting. I'm doing a pause because I was going to do it at the end of the show, and I just feel like doing it now. Tina Cox. I mean, I started behind a microphone in college in 1970. And in all the years I've done this, I don't know if I've met another person in the media that was kinder and as well liked as Tina Cox. She was everybody's friend. Everybody's friend. I didn't know she was sick. My understanding, nobody's told me she was sick. And a couple nights ago, she peacefully died in her sleep. She was only 64 years old. And if you're in the media, I mean, this is tugging at everybody, always with a smile, always with a positive comment, always trying to help everybody. And it's interesting. She's like a kind of older sister to Larry Vaught, even though Vaught is about 10 years older. As a matter of fact, their sons, way back when in high school, competed against each other, you know, Ball County and Danville and that kind of stuff. And Larry's known her since she was a cheerleader at Ball County. I'm going to read what Larry put on social media. My heart is breaking after the learning of the passing of my friend Tina Cox. Such a unique person with a big heart to always help anyone. Loved her grandkids, something we bonded over, and her family. Tina had a unique love and perspective on Kentucky basketball, and my readers at VaughtViews.com loved her commentary on the Cats because it came from a fan's perspective. Not sure how the courthouse where she worked will run without her, and no, I never imagined a day she would not be there to help me if I had any kind of issue. She was a great listener and problem solver. Just a huge loss. Prayers for her husband, Rusty, her children, grandchildren, and so many friends that she has. I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy. We're going to pull a little audible here, Olivia. We've got Skinner coming up in about 2 minutes, and I really don't want to do a rant right now on anything in sports. So we're going to take a break, and I'll get my energy back. You know, I also, was texting with Dr. John Wong, who is very close to Tina. And it just this whole thing is like 64, full of life, full of energy, full of love. Need a vehicle? Check out my friends at Quantrell, Subarus, Volvos, Cadillacs. We have not one, not two, but 3 vehicles from Quantrell over the last 12 plus years. The XC60, the Volvo, the hybrid, saving a lot of money on gas. It's a plug-in, best car we've had. And as I say every day, Saturday morning at Red River Gorge, coffee in one hand, leash in the other, and your dog already ready to go. Gravel roads, trailheads, and windows down through the bluegrass. That's life in a Quantrell Subaru. Subaru, built for the hikes. Quantrell Subaru, built for the road trips. Quantrell Subaru, built for everything in between. And it's an award-winning vehicle. Now receive 1.9% interest for 75 months on the 2026 Subaru Outback. See Quantrell for details. That's QuantrellSubaru.com. Craig Skinner, one of the great coaches in America. Notice I didn't say volleyball. I said one of the great coaches in America. Coming up next, Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
The Alan Cutler Show on ESPN 92.5 and 1300 AM and on the ESPN Lexington app. Presented by Republic Bank.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no-filter comment. Hit the text line 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just the machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Ready to feel the surge? Good, because Cadillac didn't come to play. At Quantrill Cadillac, this is power redefined. All electric speed or gas-fed adrenaline, built to move, built to lead. Right now, get in with financing as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months on select models. No limits, no apologies, just drive. Check them out. I love the Cadillacs. QuantrillCadillac.com. See dealer for details.
Listen to the Alan Cutler Show weekdays noon to 2 on ESPN 92.5 and 1300 AM and on the ESPN Lexington app. Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. You know, I'm looking at Craig Skinner's record, and I think he needs to prove in the Southeastern Conference. He's only won 82% of his games and matches. Coach, only 82%. That's like in a stratosphere that's like, I've looked at these numbers before, but I look at it going, I know it's real, but it seems unreal. One, mazel tov and congratulations. And you're doing a press conference today. You're doing something for ESPN in a couple of minutes, and you're getting ready to play in a big tournament, and you're squeezing out a couple of minutes, which I say thank you very much. How are you, Coach? And by the way, you know, can I criticize you? Do you mind? Can you handle criticism?
Bring it on, Alan.
You play too many cupcakes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you're right. A very, very astute and observant of you.
Look, I don't know if anybody, I don't know everybody's schedule. I don't want to know everybody's schedule, but I don't know, at least in my world, where anybody year after year has honestly a tougher schedule than you have. And it also has to be, besides that you're nuts and maybe it cost you your hair, it's got to be a great recruiting tool when you tell the people that you're recruiting, hey, we don't play cupcakes and you're going to have to play great talent every single night.
Well, I just was talking to our seniors going into this weekend, and they both, all four of them were like, hey, I'm glad we're not playing any cupcakes. And there's the exact terminology. So, I mean, the best athletes, best competitors want to play good teams, and we do too. And to be honest with you, some of it is by design, and others is selected by the league and the Big Ten, and, you know, all those challenges we have going on as well. So it's a combo.
This was lovely by one of your players. On BBN, I saw an interview they did with Asia Thigpen, and she was asked about, you're already smiling. And Chris Scholes, who's listening, going, I know Cutler won't be negative, but where the heck is he going? Right, Chris, you want to give me a nod? To say, give me a nod. So she said a couple things that I thought were lovely. One, that this group is silly, which I think is great. Nobody talks about that. I mean, they're college kids. You're supposed to be silly. Two, she said, we joke a lot, but we are super competitive, which I thought was great. And three, and to me, three is the most important thing. She said that you push, and now, you know, your squad's push to play with joy. And when did you start that? Where did you get it? And that has to take away something everybody faces as an athlete and in life, pressure. So, you know, tackle whatever you want first. But to me, the fact that you're pushing your team to play with joy, to me, that's a beautiful thing. And you know what? You should do motivational speaking and make a lot of money talking to coaches across the country about that.
You know, I first got to Kentucky, the last point of my kind of philosophy that I wanted for our program was love the game. And because all the other stuff doesn't matter if you don't love the game. And, you know, challenge our players all the time. The reason why they picked up a sport is because they just had a great time. They loved it. They had fun. So why shouldn't we enjoy what we do? If you don't enjoy it, this is too much of a job to continue on. So, you know, if we're not enjoying it, we're not playing with joy, I have to figure out why. And it's certainly a a challenge of ours each and every year because seasons are long and practices are long and preseasons are long, and there still needs to be an element of joy with it, for sure.
Is that at times difficult, or at times as you're tweaking things, players tweak things, coaches tweaking, that kind of stuff? When you see in any part of the season, I'm sure there's got to be a lull somewhere, whether that's, coming into a loss or maybe you win, but things aren't the way you want. Do you have to, do a tune-up sometimes for yourself and your players and your staff at time to remind them, hey, this is all about, you love this and you're working your blank, blank, blank off, play with joy?
No question. I mean, as the more experience you have, you kind of know the times during the season that there's going to be some lulls, like we just went through one. It's the end of the second week of preseason, and it's everyone's tired, everyone's going 100 miles an hour. So how can we change the flow of practice or add a little bit new, wrinkle to it, or put some drills in that there's really no major pressure on it, but brings back that element of joy. And then there's also players. Players are starters and players aren't starters. So there's obviously an element of joy that probably starters might automatically get out of their role versus someone coming off the bench. And so I think addressing that in the recruiting process, addressing that at the beginning of seasons is really important. Like, hey, we talked about this and this is the situation we're in now, so how do we best handle it? And preparation is huge, and that type of stuff, not only the intangible piece that you're talking about, but also the physical piece.
Where did you get this joy factor in coaching? Is something you made up, you learned from somebody else? Because it's not something that I have heard other coaches pushing the way you do.
I mean, sports are fun. I mean, you when you're a kid and you're in second grade and you go out on the playground to go on the swing or go down the slide, it was fun, and when you go play, soccer for the first time, you're running around and, you're with your friends and, it's enjoyable. I mean, it just, sports are fun. Yes, it's intense. Yes, it's competitive, but man, there's no better enthusiasm or enjoyment than hitting a home run or, getting a straight down kill and so then it's transferring. How do you transfer that into the grind of getting better at something that it's actually enjoyable getting better at something? Because when you get to a spot where you've improved, you look back and go, man, I really glad I did that.
19 consecutive appearances in the NCAA tournament, one national championship, a second national championship game. You've got on a mantelpiece. This might sound silly, but because of what you built, do you feel pressure to continue doing this, or you don't say that was last year and I'm not going to look at it? And why are you asking me this? It's a silly question.
Yeah, I've been asked that a couple times recently, and I think I probably, after we won the Natty in 2020, I probably put a lot more pressure and expectations on myself then, and I don't think we had a great season, that following year. I mean, it was good, and we, it was fine, but I think I learned a little bit about that, and you can't ever forget where you came from. You can't forget the culture and the foundation of your program, and I think I always try and pull from that. And I've always had high expectations for myself and our players and our program, and this year's no different than last year. And the expectations are become the best you can be, and know, if you're either getting better or getting worse. So which are we today? And so that's just always kind of been the philosophy and how we continue to roll.
Okay, number 3, Kentucky plays number 6, Wisconsin, a school you know very well because you had residence there as an assistant coach. What I think is really cool, it's on ESPN, not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ESPNs, 9 o'clock, which obviously shows me volleyball is increasing in its love because people are watching. I mean, right out of the gate, you've got Wisconsin, then Pittsburgh, again, people that you know all too well from competition. Talk about this event, and hopefully we get more people watching and what this means for you and how you can then have a really good idea, much better idea, because you're seeing them play somebody else about what this team needs and how good they are.
Yeah, I mean, the ABCA has done a hell of a job of putting this event on and bringing the best teams around the country into a venue to compete. And ESPN has obviously seen the value in our sport and really pushing our sport even throughout football season. So we used to try and peel the layers behind the football season and get, hey, look at us, we're volleyball. But now I think people are looking for volleyball and also in conjunction with football. So I think that's a big step forward for us. And being able to have a couple weekends prior to the football season like this are huge for new fans. You know, we have a lot of volleyball loyal fans, but this is huge for new fans that don't watch volleyball. They're like, oh, wow, this sport's awesome. I got to watch this more, you know. So what a better, you know, what way that we could better do this. And kudos to the ABCA and schools for really agreeing to do this thing.
I think it's brilliant doing this just before college football started, because if you did it on the first weekend of college football, first of all, you wouldn't have the time because they'd be doing some college football. And the other thing, even if they did, it'd be on ESPN 7. And now, you know, you're highlighted tremendously, which I think is beautiful. You know, one of the things, and I wasn't smart enough the first time I met you to think you would do these kinds of things. And what do I know? You have done so many crazy, wonderful stunts to promote volleyball. I have a feeling Chris, who's listening but not talking, probably has had a couple suggestions, as you know, some of your players and assistant coaches have had. What is the craziest thing you've done?
Oh gosh. I don't know. When I stood on the desk last year, I just finally was like, you know, I'm tired of this shit. You know, there needs to be, why aren't we paying attention to this? And, you know, just like you, Alan, no offense, but you get in a pattern, you get comfortable, you do the same thing over, report on the same sports. And you're just like, if I do that, then I'm doing something completely different. I'm uncomfortable, you know, so I'm just trying to, you know, challenge the status quo. And, you know, I don't know if it's crazy. It's just like, look, I'm going to do something stupid here. Maybe more people might pay attention. It paid off. But my goal is to not have to do that. My goal is that, you know, it's already second nature, you know, and again, I truly believe it's going to be, we're looking for volleyball. We're not looking for a football game. And ESPN will be like, you know what, we're putting volleyballs on instead of football. I mean, we're on that path. When it happens, I don't know, but it's happening. And so the goal is to do those things, and I think we're getting closer, but who knows, we might sprinkle one in here and there.
Okay. Last thing, safe prediction. Chris, please correct me if I'm wrong. You averaged 3,800 fans this past season at home. Chris has given me a thumbs up. Here's the safe prediction. You're going to be well over 4,000. And I can see the day where on a consistent basis, and I'm not talking about 10 years from now, but in the near future, when you're playing a big match, you look around and there ain't no empty seats. I can see that tangible right in front of you, and it's going to happen. It's a credit to you and your staff and your program, whatever. And then maybe you won't, you know, you say need to do something crazy. I think it's wonderful what you've done. It's pretty interesting. I had a last one. When you first did your first stunt like that and you told your wife what you were doing, if you can share it, what was her reaction?
That was the key. I didn't tell her. And both her and my kids were like, Dad, you know, you're gonna let us know what's going on? I'm like, yeah, sometimes. Yeah. So, but I just said, you know what, I'm doing it. I don't care what people think. And you know, my family's been so supportive for 20 some years of being a coach's family, and I owe them so much, you know, for being there right by my side.
And you know, if your kids think you're crazy, that's a cool thing, isn't it?
Yes. Of course. I'm sure yours think the same thing, Alan.
Yeah, it might have been brought up once or twice. One, thank you for your time. I know you got another podcast to do for ESPN before you do a press conference at 1:45. I'll be watching Friday night. I wish you nothing but the best. I think it's great what you've done, and it's taken a while, but the sport's changing, and I hope you have at least a couple of sellouts this year. Chris, as always, you do a great job. Thank you for help setting this up on a dime. And Mr. Skinner, thank you, man. I really appreciate you and respect what you do.
Appreciate it, Alan. Have a great week.
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
Care.
It's amazing what this program has done. It's absolutely amazing what it's done. Whew. Really amazing. Kenny Rice is coming up. Olivia, just let me know when he's in. It will be soon. Unbelievable what he's done. He is in. Okay. Then we will go to Kenny Rice. We will go from talking volleyball. And then later, Kenny Skywalker will be joining us. And Jenna Lifshin, and what she's been doing recently is amazing. And then Hal McCoy. Kenny Rice. Hello, Mr. Rice. How are you?
Mr. Cutler, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good. So I don't know if you were listening to Skinner, and I know you know the stunts.
Yeah.
Would you have done a stunt I mean, he's done some crazy things. I think it's wonderful. I mean, and when I first met him, he's always so calm and low key. So, I didn't see it, whatever. But would you jump out of an airplane or take an airplane ride or stand on the table or whatever? Well, he didn't jump out of an airplane, but he took an airplane ride. I mean, to promote Channel 36 back in the day, would you have done it when you were young? Not now, we're both old.
I wouldn't have done it at any time. As a matter of fact, one year, NBC gave us the opportunity to go up and do a skydive.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously. Out of Fort Campbell, the military out of Fort Campbell. It was obviously a publicity campaign for the military services, and wasn't mandatory, but it was nicely offered. And I don't know if anybody. I think maybe one person went up. I didn't go up. What do I want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
But Tom Hammond didn't do it either.
I guarantee he didn't. No. But yeah, I don't know. I think Donna Brothers did. I think it was Donna. I think she was only one.
Really?
Yeah. Would you have done it I mean, I wouldn't have done it again. And I love the military. I respect them tremendously, but I'm not going to jump out of an airplane.
I'm a card.
And whatever they're paying Skinner, it's not enough. I mean, he's been he was Barnhart's best hire.
Yes.
I mean, tremendous to think. And I remember back when Kathy DeBoer was there, back in the 80s, Kentucky had a really good volleyball program. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
One time at Memorial Coliseum, they hosted the NCAA volleyball championship. Do you remember that back in the 80s?
I do. I was pausing on you. I just looked up his salary.
Final Four. It was the Final Four. And I remember they brought in the San Diego Chicken to help out, when they launched the festivities for the weekend, to bring attention to the women's volleyball championship. Yeah.
I interviewed the Chicken. He was an interesting character when he took off his mask. We did it with the mask on and with the mask off. He was actually an interesting dude who had a pretty good idea, and he made a fortune.
Ted Giannopoulos or something like that.
It was Ted something. You're right. You're right.
I remember they showed, how you do the teas coming up, and the Chicken was with Cliff Hagan, who always looks great and still looks great, by the way. Cliff has got to be approaching 90. He still looks great.
I think he's past 90, isn't he?
I don't know if he's that old. He might be. Yeah, he's like. Anyway, I said, and coming up, Cliff Hagan opens a new restaurant. Because remember, there was a Cliff Hagan steakhouse, and so and he called me up. He thought it was funny, and I always enjoyed talking with Cliff. He was one of my favorites of UK administration over the years. He and Larry.
Me too.
Yeah, both those guys.
By the way, he's 94.
Is he? Well, he looks probably like he's 70.
I bet he can still hit that hook shot.
I think I told you when I met him, first time at Memorial Coliseum, I just started working locally. It was like late 1980s. And, he had pickup games over there. And I see him and I introduced myself and, because my dad had seen him play at Owensboro, had seen him at UK and seen him in the pros. And I said, my dad said, you have one of the greatest hook shots he'd ever seen. And Cliff put his big arm around me and he said, Kenny, I'm sure your dad said I had the greatest hook shot he ever seen. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way he framed it. Because I just think the world of Cliff.
Me too. And you know what's even funnier about that, for those who don't know Cliff was actually shy and not braggadocio. For him to say that really came out like I had the best. And by the way, he did. I saw him just screwing around, hitting a hook shot from the free throw line with both hands. Both hands.
Yeah, when you talk about hook shots, everybody thinks of the sky hook of Jabbar, which was close to unstoppable. But Cliff Hagan, who wasn't the only one doing it, he was just the master of it. They were shooting 16, 17-foot hook shots.
Yep.
Hook shots from the baseline, from just off the key. People don't realize that used to be a weapon. And I don't know why no one has ever come up with. It's not one, remember the old days. It's not even that. It's just a good practical tool to give to one of these young players to put in their arsenal. And again, we talked about Malachi Moreno, my favorite Wildcat. And I'm hoping get a little more of a, doesn't even have to be the sky hook, just a little baby hook or something going. I just think it adds to everybody's game. And it's almost a lost art in the pros. You don't see anybody. Of course, all you see in the pros are 3-point shots and dunks with a few exceptions.
I will never understand why they don't teach the hook. I've said it forever. When Oscar was here,
yeah, I remember.
He's short. when I say short, he's not 7 feet tall, but he's so thick and strong, and with as big as wide as his shoulders. If he had a sky hook shot, I think he'd be in the NBA, maybe starting now, because you ain't going to block it, not when your shoulders are that wide. And I said two things. One, I'd either ask Kareem to come in, or I'd ask Cliff Kagan to come in. And Cliff spent a week with Oscar. He would love to do it, and it just drives me crazy with the common sense factor in basketball, why the hook shot isn't something. And you work on it until you get good at it. Johnny Kerr had a hook shot. That's olden times. And it was fairly common back then. And it's like a great shot. It's extinct now.
Well, you hit upon it. UK and common sense are mutually exclusive, as you know. I mean, it's I don't understand. They kind of, you would think they would honor and revere someone like Hagan to come back, or some of those guys to work with young guys, to invite them back. I don't know if they ever do. I don't know of a coach who ever did. I'm not saying there wasn't one. I just don't remember it. In the 18 years or so I was there, I don't remember it at all. And I haven't heard of it since then. I've heard of them inviting players back and things, but you think you would have, Goose Gibbons and Kyle Macy locally, bring in Hagan, bring in Dan Issel, some of these guys to, maybe, give them a few pointers, as well as talk to them a little bit. And maybe they're doing it. I don't know. But I think that would just make sense. Let's carry on this tradition. Like at UCL, like at USC, fight on, which they do for football a lot, not for basketball. But at least throw something out there that would make it interesting for the kids, I think, and maybe helpful. Dan Issel had the greatest head fake in basketball history. He got off shots that no 6'9" guy should be able to get off out there from the top of the key on some of these guys, because he had that great little quick head fake. I think he wrote in his book, I don't know, I guess he's got another one coming out, about, I think he called it an 8th grade head fake that carried him through to a Hall of Fame career.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. By the way, his book will be out this fall, and I'll bet they have him at a game. I've read half the book. Doug Brunk sent it to me to kind of review and then look at, and that stuff. It's wonderful. He starts off being honest about, hey, I made mistakes, and mentions one of his big mistakes right off the bat. And I talked to Dan yesterday. He's doing the show next week, and I told him how much I liked it, because in his own way, he was no filter. It is not a fluff book at all. And Kenny, I'll bet you really like it. Let me throw this at you, Kenny, because I'm kind of thinking that's all, but I want your opinion. Kenny Rice, NBC Sports, done the Derby since
1918.
I was going to say I thought shortly after Citation won, but I could be wrong on that.
I did a walkover with Ben Jones. He didn't even walk over then. I walked with him anyway.
So tell me if this is nuts. First of all, the day's going to happen when Skinner's here. He's going to make $1 million. So, and as I saw this, I remember that this was right from years ago. From 2024 through 2027, his annual salary is $525,000. But this is fascinating. For media and endorsement fees, which, as you know, that's where most of the money for Stein and Cal and all the basketball coaches that Jim Host, everybody else coaching, because he set this thing up for Joby Hall and all these guys to make tons of money. Kenny Rice,
yes,
media and endorsement that he gets is only $5,000 a year. Am I nuts, Kenny? I think that's embarrassingly low.
You know what? It isn't, Alan. I mean, I for this reason, yes. I mean, for what Skinner's done and to put UK, consistent power. I went to third already in the preseason poll, and certainly a good chance of going to another Final Four. But the deal is, they don't bring in the money that football and basketball does. I've said this before. An athletic director and J-Bat will be judged on this too in the long run, just like Mitch was. Men's basketball and football are the kings. Just anywhere you go, because they bring in the money that funds volleyball and women's basketball and baseball and everything else. Very few other schools make their money on minor sports. And we'll say minor sports, we'll say non-revenue producing sports. So I think, for as far as based on pure coaching and what he's done Yeah, I think you should make $1 million a year. Reality, I'm not sure how many volleyball guys make $1 million a year. I'm not sure how many sellout crowd season tickets they sell for UK volleyball. Certainly, I enjoy watching them from afar. I've never been to a game, not since he's been there. I've watched them on TV, and I root for them. They've really become my favorite team. But yeah, I'm not going to be hypocritical about it. I'm not one of the guys out there buying season tickets or rushing out to watch the volleyball team play either. So, from that standpoint, I can understand. Yeah, I mean, I agree that I'd like to see everybody make the money they can make. Whatever you can make, go ahead and make it. But I can understand why these, same with Kenny Brooks. I mean, how many times you go to women's basketball games? Are they going to bring in the crowd that they do at Rupp? Are they going to get the revenue that NCAA tournament money pays? No. So it's just the way of life, proving that once again we cannot be a socialist country. How about that? I don't even know what that meant. I just threw that in at the end.
I'm not touching that one. Okay, let me agree and disagree with you.
Please.
There's no question that, and this is not a sexist thing, that the volleyball coach and the women's basketball coach should get a fraction of what Pope gets and Stein gets for all the reasons that you said. We had a president, I'm not going to say the name, who said that, Caitlin Clark should make the same amount of money as the NBA stars. That's 1,000% wrong, because the TV ratings, which are going up, it's nothing in comparison. The advertising dollars are nothing in comparison. The salaries are too low. They're getting better, but it should not be. It should be equal when the money, as you were saying, goes up. No question. But here's my point. Okay, Kenny Brooks, a 5-year, $7.7 million contract.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm suggesting that what Craig Skinner has done, and by the way, they averaged 3,800 per match last year, which is pretty good, and I bet it'll be well over 4,000, and I think it's going to go up from there. But the point is, it seems to me that Skinner's salary should be ballpark, not to Stein, not to Pope, but it should be ballpark to Kenny Brooks, because you know what? It's not like the women's basketball team is making a lot of money, and it's not like the volleyball team is making a lot of money. So now there'll be some women that won't like this, and see if you agree. For today, it's exactly what you said. Football actually pays more of the bills than basketball, and I know you know
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
Football and basketball, and boom, there's a huge drop-off. But I look at Skinner, plus what he's done. Okay. And to me, his salary should be in the ballpark of Kenny Brooks, and it's not even close. That's where I'm coming from. NBC's former 36 sports director, back when TV was TV, Kenny Rice.
Nobody even remembers Channel 36 now, nor should they. I'll get to that in just a minute. I laughed at all the, oh, geez, it's gone away. It's gone away. I said, what nostalgia? That place stunk on ice for the most part. But anyway, now we'll move back on. I think you make a great point about. I think Skinner should be paid what Brooks is. He should be paid as much, if not more, than any non-revenue coach at UK.
Amen.
I think he's the best non-revenue coach. And when I say non-revenue coach, I'm talking about how much money the program brings in, not his worth. So everybody's clear on that. But yeah, when volleyball starts packing in like 10,000. And they're having to move games to Rupp Arena because it gets too much for Memorial, or Kenny Brooks brings in a Final Four women's team that is packing in 8,000-9,000, and people are selling like 6,000 season tickets, 7,000 season tickets, then we have a different conversation. But that hasn't happened yet, and honestly, I don't foresee it happening in the future, with a few exceptions. They'll have a game or two where they'll pack the place, but I just don't think it's going to happen here in Kentucky.
My last comment on that, and you comment, and then we'll go on to something else.
Yeah.
Who knew we were going to talk about money so much today? I never know.
But anyway, money. Guys like us, Alan, we flaunt it. We just money. That's all we talk about.
No, you're the NBC guy,
We had a wonderful lunch the other day with your lovely wife. Hi, Judy, by the way, and your beautiful and intelligent grandkids. And we just sat there and compared money and investments, and it was just sickening.
The last one is a lie. The truth is, we end up playing a kids game.
Yeah, which I was not any good at, by the way.
You're not as good of a con artist. Okay, let me throw this at you, because you've seen this in broadcasting. To get Brooks here, which great hire. There's no question, great hire.
So far, looks real good.
You have to pay more to bring somebody here versus somebody who's already here. You've seen it in broadcasting. How many times you see somebody that had to leave to get the money that they deserved?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so because Skinner is loyal, loves it here, everybody loves Skinner. If he would, let's say, I'm throwing out Ohio State. I don't know anything about the volleyball program. It's not the point. But if he would go to Ohio State, that salary of $525 would go up exponentially. But sometimes when you're here and at the same place, no matter how successful you are, you don't get what you deserve.
Well, again, it comes back. I'm not sure how many. I mean, I think Kentucky's a volleyball hotbed now. I mean, I really do. The job he's done, you had to put Kentucky right up there, like Nebraska, Pittsburgh. I'm going to miss one or two. I'm really, to be honest, not up on my women's volleyball powerhouse programs. I know Nebraska and Pittsburgh are usually pretty good. Let's see, Texas, I think, is usually pretty good, and Kentucky, they're perennial top 10 now. And so, yes, I do think that what he's done is amazing. But you're also right, kind of biblical. A prophet is without honor in his own country, and when you come in and you do good and you get established, you're kind of taken for granted. And it is. It's what's the new shiny thing out there? Generally gets the most money. We have to pay this guy this much money to bring them in, and it's always been that way. No, in all kinds of businesses. No matter what you're doing out there, you're an accountant. They want somebody else from another accounting firm. Whatever the case will be. Everybody likes the new kid in town to see how the new kid's going to do. And if you stay around and you were that new kid and do really well, you are taken for granted after a while. And they said, well, they're not going to leave. They've been here 8 years. They've been here 15 years. I went through that in local TV. I said, he's never going to leave. So one day I left. They said, hey, why are you leaving? I said, I don't know. I decided to leave.
Pretty simple. Let me throw this at you. And I'm going to talk to Hal McCoy, the Hall of Famer, coming up at 1:30. I want to talk a little Reds baseball.
Gotcha.
There's a great graphic with Stewart, like he must have struck out or something. He's got that look, and he's been unbelievable. He's been absolutely unbelievable. The Reds' offense, which is offensive,
yes,
scored 1 run or less in 6 of their last 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
When Dane Myers, who I like a lot, actually picked their whole the outfield is totally new from the beginning of the season.
They have some hope there. Yes, they do.
And it's improved. I really like Dane Myers, and he's made some catches that were really good. He's really been a platoon guy. Let me throw a record at you that's shocking the hell out of me. Okay. The Reds are in last place.
Yeah.
When Dane Myers plays, they are 52 wins and 37 losses, and he's a platoon player. And now he's playing every day because he's just earned the right. Friedel was so bad they had to sit him, and he's made some spectacular catches, and he plays hard. He's built like a really strong defensive back, and his confidence with the bat is getting better. He had 2 home runs the other day. The first one in the first game, and then a nightcap at a pinch hit, and that spurred him to win. I don't know if I've ever seen numbers 52 and 37 versus a team that's in last place for a guy that only now is becoming a regular. And I'm a baseball geek. I've never seen this.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I've seen that or not. I think Stewart's going to be the rookie of the year, by the way.
If he's not, there ought to be an investigation. And I'm going blank on the young man from St. Louis, who's a really good rookie.
Yeah, he is. It's going to be those two, but I think I give it to Stewart, and I'm a Cardinals fan, as you know. But
I know, but you know what? It's not even close.
The fact that had an amazing year, and you start looking at all the numbers of things he surpassed that other Reds rookies didn't do. Some really good Reds rookies, as we know, and he's done things that they didn't do. So, and you talk about the outfield, which I think is just the hope. It's the hope of next year. It's always the hope of next year now for the Reds, isn't it? Except last year, they kind of snuck in under the radar and got in there. But now you look to next year. But I look at the outfield. I look at De La Cruz. There is hope. But they've got to get some consistent pitching, and I don't know now what happened to their offense. It's just totally gone. This is a really different year from last year, and I had thought when you look back at May, look at May, how high they were riding. I knew they couldn't keep that pace up, but I thought they would be contenders, and I was really surprised. And then the bullpen kind of fell apart there, and the Reds became kind of what they're known for, being the Reds for the most part. And and then you look around baseball though, and how are they going to compete? How are any of these mid-levels going to compete with the money LA's throwing out? And the Yankees still have some money. That's why you have hope, like for Tampa Bay to win the World Series. they need a small market World Series winner, I think, in baseball real soon.
Tampa Bay or Milwaukee, the way they play, and they
Milwaukee.
play small ball at
Yeah, or
times. It's
Milwaukee.
unbelievable.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee. It'd be the best World Series ever. At this age, you got to get something in there that give some hope out there for the Reds and for the Royals and even the Cardinals to an extent, because it's just become too much of a how much money do you have? And you can say, no, it really hasn't always been that way. It's just been that way in recent years. I mean, the Yankees never could buy it. They never could get it. They had some success, but it's been a while since they've been able to buy the titles. The Dodgers, who could win their third in a row this year, I would say they have to be favorite right now.
Kenny, I want you to hang on a second.
I won't.
We have a surprise.
What? This is my life?
To join us right now.
Okay.
And it's not every day a surprise comes with a little song. So, as you know, Kenny, can you hear me? Other Kenny, new Kenny, are you there? Kenny Skywalker. So much for surprising you, Kenny Rice. Kenny Rice and Kenny Skywalker are like besties, okay?
Sky, he's the best. He just
is the best.
Happy birthday.
Would you run over to his house and turn his audio on?
No, I think I just did it.
Yeah. Now let me see your face now.
Oh, it should be coming up.
No, that's okay. 1 out of 2. All right. So before we get into the proper introductions, which I never do, Olivia.
There I am.
All right. Okay. We're talking.
Wait. I'm sorry, Kenny. I mean, because Alan and I, we do this, thing with the T-shirts and stuff like this. But Kenny Rice, I apologize because Alan Cutler didn't get everything right. I'm blaming him.
Okay.
Blaming.
You're my guy. Kenny, you doing okay, buddy?
I'm doing great, Sky. How about and belated happy birthday again? I sent you a message, but belated for all that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Skywalker. Happy birthday to you.
You're my favorite guys. Alan Cutler, Kenny Rice. I appreciate it, guys.
If I had to pick like my all-time favorite team, okay, this is just and some of them are great players, you'll know that. But like my biased team too, because they mean a lot. Kenny Walker, one, Dan Issel, Rex Chapman, Goose Gibbons, Dickie Beal, Dirk Field, the late Melvin Turpin. These are just people that have been special to me over the years, and some great players I mentioned in there, some Hall of Famers. But Skywalker again topping the list.
Yeah,
nobody compares to Skywalker.
Kenny, you gave me my first opportunity. You laughing because I'm getting ready to go with this.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
But to internship when I decided that I wanted to major in communications, and you and I had developed a relationship, so you gave me an opportunity for Roger and I to come out to intern. Roger, the point guard that used to get me the ball all of the time.
I remember Roger.
And I'm not going to go into the full story, but I'm just saying the opportunity for me to engage on this side of it. I was a young kid in college, and I appreciate your compliments. But I've had a relationship with you and your dad for a long, long time. And I always appreciated our friendship back even when we did the Kenny and Kenny sports show.
We probably, if I had better business sense, that thing would have really been good, wouldn't it?
You guys could have made money on that.
No. Well, it was a lot of things that
I made some bad decisions. I made some bad management decisions. I had fun. Kenny, I had fun, but
the timing, I think.
When you were doing ESPN stuff, I was really busier with NBC. My stuff was really beginning to take off with the Olympics.
That's right.
Remember, I went to Greece about 2 months into the show to do the Olympics. And then Kenny's going up to New York all the time. That's when you're going up there and doing their deal with Skip Bates.
Yes, cold pizza.
Yeah, and
that's
so
what it was called before
yeah.
it was first
so
taken.
we really actually our careers were kind of going. But I would say this quickly about Kenny Walker, among many things. When he was interning, he was an All-American, one of the best players in the country, and he showed up every time. And he went out to high school football games and helped shoot and keep records of high school football games until it was time for basketball season. And he did more work than some guys who were hoping to make a career. He was going to be a pro athlete. These other guys were hoping to do well in the TV world, and they didn't work half as hard as Kenny did. And everybody at 36 noticed this. They said, "Man, Kenny Walker, look at this guy. He is the guy. He is, as Alan Cutler and I would say from our native language, a mensch." You know, he shows up and he does his work, and he's still going over now. And he's an All-American basketball player. Look at him; he's out here with high school football night. It was just, I still, I love you. Dad and I went over to Spain and watched Kenny play.
Right.
We saw
exactly
him play.
right.
Went up to New York and saw you play. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all of you guys that covered us in the media at that time, of course, that was a time, Kenny, that we stuck around for 3 or 4 years, and you could build a relationship with the fans, with the media. You guys had different personalities, but you guys were there to cover us, and we all know how tough Joe B. Hall was, with the media and making sure that you guys always took care of us. I mean, Rob, I mean, if we said something crazy, you guys didn't put us out there, like it is with social media today. We had a relationship and a partnership with a lot of you guys. And, of course, like I said, Kenny, you gave me my opportunity to get my feet wet. And Alan, I guess I will give you some credit from this standpoint, even though you were a little bit goofy and aloof, and you kept us loose in a different way. You wasn't as serious. You made us relax and laugh and smile. And Kenny could do that a lot too, but Kenny knew when to, turn it on and turn it off. Just like all of the guys that covered us. Man, I tell you, the guy Tom Hammond, Joe Dean, and God rest Joe Dean Jr., who just passed away.
Yeah, I hated to hear that.
Yeah, these guys, they were a part of when college was fun, when it was about basketball and going to school and getting a good education. And of course, now, it's a business, just like anything else.
Hey, Kenny Rice, we do a T-shirt thing, and I guess you didn't get the memo. So Sky always has something much better than me. And so, I have a little Brooklyn thing on today.
Yeah, you represent Brooklyn, but I like that.
I was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah, just like my late, great teammate, Edward Earl
Davenport.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites. He would also be in my top, like 15 guys. They're just guys that you just enjoyed hanging out with. Alan Edwards would be another, by the way. Alan, there's another guy, just
down to earth, laid back, good guys. But
Sky, explain your T-shirt, because that was your best friend with the Knicks. And
that's right.
Kenny Rice's, as you know, his T-shirt collection is unbelievable.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah.
This is the way that I express myself. And I will say, up until this past year, when Jalen Brunson led the Knicks to the championship, he might be the third, I guess, greatest Knick of all time. And passing my guy here, Patrick Ewing. The only two Knicks that I would put above Patrick Ewing as greatest of all time, Willis Reed and Walt Clyde Frazier. Outside of that, this is my guy. Now, Alan and you guys know this. Patrick never won a championship with the Knicks. And one of the things that bugs me more than anything else is when you talk about the greatest players of all time, people want to diss guys like Patrick Ewing or Charles Barkley or Karl Malone. They want to say these guys didn't win a championship, so you can't consider them to be the greatest of all time. And that bothers me because I saw how hard Patrick worked through the knee injuries and everything. And think about this, guys. If Michael Jordan doesn't make this shot in 1982 for Georgetown to win the championship, Patrick Ewing wins a championship as a freshman. He won it as a sophomore against my Kentucky team. And then I guess senior year, he lost to Villanova in a crazy game. You know, he could have had 3 championships in college. And if it hadn't been for some guy named maybe Michael Jordan that played in the Eastern Conference of some of the great Knicks teams that I played on, we probably could have had 2 or 3 championships with New York Knicks in that era.
Sky, I agree with you. And how about that? Let me throw another name in, different sport, and I bet you all agree with. I put Dan Marino in there too.
Oh God, yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
He didn't win a championship. I'm sorry. I don't know if there are 5 guys in the history of football that could throw the ball the way he could. And like, you know, some people say, well, Marino's not a winner. He never won the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Aren't there 22 people? Offense, defense, and then plus special teams. And you know, and see, now what you guys throw in, I have Walt Frazier #1.
Ooh.
Best.
Willis Reed #2.
And now you're going to put Jalen Brunson #3.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little ahead of Kenny Skywalker.
Oh, well, you're speaking on a personal level, and I appreciate that. Though.
Personal level, yes.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And Brunson 3.
Okay,
because
I'll take it.
As great as Willis Reed was,
I'll take it.
And when he came out with one leg to play in the game 7, Frazier won the game. What do you have? He had a triple-double with
36 points, 19 assists, and I think about 8 rebounds.
No. I'm going to look it up.
Was it a triple-double?
He had a triple-double. I'm going to guess he had 15 rebounds. I will look it up. And that's one of the greatest championship game 7s in any sport of all time. He also was cooler than Joe Namath. I don't care what you say.
And the best. He's still in the Kenny.
Yeah.
But Frazier is still and I tell you, Alan, it was fun going to watch the Knicks play. And especially Kenny come out and all those guys and Charles Oakley and everybody, and everybody was dressed.
Yes.
You guys had to be the best dressed team in the NBA. But nobody was as classy as you guys coming out of
that. Yeah. Kenny, you got a good memory, man. And Gerald Wilkins, I was in New York I was with him at an autograph signing with him over the weekend in New York. And Oakley was coming in there the following day. But, man, we did stuff like that together as a team. We would have different tailors in different cities that would come to our hotel room and measure. I mean, we were dressed to the nines, you know. So
and sometimes girls would hang out there to look at you all.
Sometimes, hold on.
Wait, hold on, baby.
No, not sometimes. It was all the time.
That's why I went. You think I was waiting for those guys to come out of the locker room dressed up? I was back there hanging out.
Oh man, that was a great era. You know, that was a lot of fun, you know, playing in New York. You know, I didn't like New York really the first couple of years because you guys know I grew up in a small town in Georgia. And my 4 years here at Kentucky really helped me develop, I think, at a rate that you don't see now. I mean, I needed 4 years of college, you know, to adjust to things on and off the court and having good parents and having older brothers and having mentors that was going to protect me from all of the craziness that's going on around you. And you don't realize how important those people are until they're gone. And then they dump you in New York City, you know, and hey, go figure it out. And so I would like to think that had great teammates, good coaches at New York, even though it was a constant revolving door, 5 different coaches in the 5 years that I there, I think 3 or 4 different general managers. So it was a lot going on. But boy, that was a very fun time. I'm glad that you guys got an opportunity to come up and check it out.
Yeah, we had a great time. And Kenny's the great trivia question. Name the guy that played for Eddie Sutton, Joe B. Hall, and Rick Pitino.
Okay, let's see if Cutler can get it. I know the answer to it.
You?
That had to be me. Yeah.
That was really tough. By the way, I'm wrong. I don't know why I had 15 rebounds in my head. 36 points, 12 of 17 from the field, and 12 from the free throw lines in Game 7 for Walt Frazier. 18 assists.
Right.
Okay, and so that was 77 of the 113 points scored. He only had 7 rebounds.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was 9. I think.
And five steals. So, Kenny Skywalker, do you still have those suits? Do you ever wear them?
No, I think it might be 1 or 2 that have survived, that time. Just keep for the archives, like I'm an entertainer like Prince or Michael Jackson, just in case after I pass away and we want to bring
the
out
Skywalker Museum.
There you go. Hey, I saved a couple that might be here, but most of them are gone.
But you know what? Those styles will come back, though. Almost every style. I remember seeing suits from the 1940s with the really wide lapels and stuff like that, and then it became tight, and they came back.
Yeah.
I bet you if Lord willing, you live another 30, 40 years, you're going to have a couple things in your closet you're going, I can't believe this is cool again.
I tell you what's cool again, and you guys will laugh about this. You remember how short uniforms were, the Daisy Duke uniforms that we wore.
They're going to come back.
In the 70s. And you haven't seen, there's guys now that are wearing the short shorts again.
Yeah.
And I love it because, man, I hate to sign autographs of my old pictures, man. I mean, I look at those things, I'm like, man, they're short, but they didn't have to be that short. but when Michael Jordan and the Fab Five came along with the baggy shorts, everything after that looks cool. Right. But that era, man, oh God, I'm glad that we didn't have high definition video and TV with those shorts on.
When did you become so vain?
Well, I mean, it was a style. I didn't really worry about it at the time. I think it helped me jump higher, to be honest with you, having short. Yeah.
How does it make you jump higher?
Because the air can flow freely, so you can get up in the air. They got spandex and leg around. I mean, and if you got baggy shorts down to your knees, they're pulling you down. So they were aerodynamic. So you can.
Kenny Rice, that was our mistake. The shorts. That's why you and I couldn't leap.
That would be one of them. Yeah, among many things.
Lack of talent might have been something for me.
My favorite Kenny Walker moment. My favorite Kenny Walker play at UK, and he'll know what it is. And everybody will think there were many of them. The one that made Charles Barkley cry would be second on my list. That would be second. But you know what it is? 1985. I'm in Salt Lake City. You're playing number 1 ranked UNLV. Someone drives the baseline, and Skywalker, the junior from Roberta, Georgia, goes up and blocks the shot and changes the game. Am I right?
You're right about that, and was able to keep it in bounds, then smack it in the stands. Richard Madison saves it. Roger Harden gets the outlet pass, and I run the length of court, catches it, lays it in, kind of seals that game. So you definitely got the good memory there, Kenny Rice. But
that was the place that should play. I mean, I remember that. Of course, the Barkley shot I say like you did. Beat Barkley by yourself. You practically did, but to beat Auburn with that shot at Vandy.
Yeah, the crazy thing about the Barkley shot, though, Kenny, and I probably have told you about this, Alan. I mean, I appreciate the block shot. That's my favorite memory, at UK because of the NCAA tournament of what you're talking about with UNLV game-clinching plays. But that shot against Auburn in 1984, I was a sophomore. And the score was tied 49-49, 8 seconds to go in the game. Joby Hall calls a timeout. Again, I'm just a sophomore. The night before, I had gone 111, my worst shooting night in the history while I was at UK. Couldn't make a shot. And I was usually pretty accurate. In the timeout, Joby Hall says, okay, they think we're going to go to Sam, Melvin, or probably Jim Masters, the seniors on the team. He said, but want you guys, Sam, Melvin, to set a double pick along the baseline. Kenny, I want you to curl off the baseline and catch the ball at the top of the key. You'll have enough time to maybe take one dribble, get up a shot, just get it up there. You're going to make it. And the thing that I'm thinking as a sophomore, Melvin Turpin is the guy that I want to go to because Melvin was automatic, but Melvin had problems scoring and working against Charles Barkley and because of Barkley's physicality. And Sam was just coming back from a year layoff. And I just remember, on that play, he said, "You're going to make this shot before you, and we're going to win the game." The crazy thing, the play went exactly like it should have went. Caught the ball at top of the key, one dribble, pulls up over Chuck Person, and I dream. I wish I could say I switched it, Kenny, but it's the ugliest shot.
It went in.
Oh my!
Hey,
I
wait
mean,
a minute. No. That's as pretty as it gets.
No. Come on, Alan. I
Guys.
Did
it go in? Yes or no?
Yeah, it went in and it counted. That's about it. So it's
Sky, you're outvoted 2-1.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
When Barkley's on the floor crying,
that's it.
Yeah. It was a moment. And I remember sitting courtside, and Alan was there too. A lot of us when you come up here and play. And I know the first time I saw Barkley, and I'm thinking, hey, this fat guy. It's great to see a guy that I'm in better shape out there playing basketball. You're thinking that. I'd never seen him. And you didn't have the social media now, so nobody really knew Charles Barkley.
Now, can I ask you both guys? I'm going to flip it on you all. We know how good Charles Barkley was in college when he was overweight and he was fat.
Yeah.
Did you guys anticipate the transformation of his body once he got to the NBA and the way that he was able to expand his game even further and still have that physical, dominant, mean enforcer personality? I mean, he was great in college. He far exceeded anything that I thought.
I'm going to give you. Can I give you a yes, Kenny? Let me jump in on this because Moses Malone said he was fat, and Moses Malone took
him on his wings.
Under his wing, and Barkley was complaining that he didn't play, and he said, "Youngster, you're fat. You're not in shape. You can't do it." And whatever. So he had the intensity. That part didn't surprise me. What I would not have guessed was that he would lose all that weight. And he had the intensity.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a fat man jump like that in college.
Me either.
Nobody has.
Kenny Rice, you remember we both were there. He put at Rupp Arena his elbows twice above the rim on a dunk at 6'4", and they said he was 300, and I didn't buy it. I thought he was north of 300. I've never seen a human being jump like that.
And you can.
I called bull riding. Well, NBC gave me the job. I did the PBR on NBC, and I used Barkley as an example because they had this bull, a little yellow jacket that weighed like a ton, really like a 2,000 pounds, jump about 5 feet in the air, and he's like the Charles Barkley of bovine.
Yeah. He was just, he was just so physical. I actually felt bad for Melvin Turpin because Melvin Turpin pretty much dominated everyone in the SEC. But every time he went against Barkley, he had a few good games against Barkley, but Barkley was the one guy that could really get inside of his head a little bit. And, I felt bad for Melvin because and Coach Hall would always say, "Melvin, you're bigger than he is. You're taller than he is. You weigh just as much as he does. I mean, you're complaining that he's hit you with an elbow. Hit him back. But Melvin always struggled against Charles Barkley. But that game that you guys are talking about, that game-winning shot, obviously – I was happy that we won it, but I think Melvin Turpin was probably more happy than any of us. Man, I missed the Big Dipper. Man, what a great personality. Great guy.
God bless him, but he was not a physical basketball.
No, that wasn't his game.
Yeah,
Melvin Turpin would be, I guess, equivalent to what Karl Anthony Towns is in the NBA now. If he was playing today, Melvin Turpin would easily be able to shoot the 3-point shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if he would have
His-
kept his weight down, he'd
Yeah.
have played in the NBA forever. Even as a backup, his mid-range shot for a guy his size was ridiculous. Guys, I got to run, but do this. Mr. Rice, you make one comment, whatever's in your mind, whether it's Kenny or sports, and then Mr. Walker, you make a comment too.
Well, first off, it's just good to be with you guys. And I really mean that. You know, as life goes by, and I don't want to get too sentimental here, but like I said, you know, everything else becomes vapor in what you say and the stories you do in the interviews. But friendship and Kenny and I go back, good gracious, 40 years now.
Absolutely.
And I think the world of that man. And so did my dad and my mom, sister.
Sister, yeah.
You know, I mean,
It's a family affair.
The whole family knows Kenny. And
That's right.
and like I say, it's just special. I love you guys. It's really special to see you as always. And don't tell the other guys how much I like you better. Some of them get.
You know it's safe. You know your secret is safe with me, man. And you know I feel the same way about you. And man, I just can't believe how fast the years have gone by.
Yeah.
You know, when you say that it's been 40 years since I played at the University of Kentucky, sometimes my knees and back feels like it's 40 years, but in my mind, I still feel young. And when we get a chance to go down memory lane, I know you guys are interviewing me, but I get a chance to talk about Roger Harden, Ed Davender, Melvin Turpin, and some of the teammates, that helped me along the way in my career. So anytime that I can come on the air and recognize our friendship and all of the people that's been important to me in my life, look, any opportunity that I get to do that. And I'm glad that we surprised you today, Kenny Rice. How I feel about you, but I'm glad that we got a chance to, be on the show, because it's been a while since we worked together.
I know
We're gonna do this again, the three of us.
Yes,
absolutely, and we're not waiting to Sky's next birthday. We're not going to wait that long. Here's Sky, can I tell you a little secret? First of all, my love for both of you guys is off the charts. That's one, and two. Hey, Sky, you should have seen Kenny this weekend. He was like silly putty in the hands of my grandkids, had him wrapped around his little finger. It was wonderful to see. He was like a little kid, and they owned him. They were, I wouldn't say bossing him around, but a little bit. And it was beautiful.
You won't find smarter kids. Obviously, they all take after Judy's side, but
not for me.
You wouldn't find smarter. I'm serious. They were delightful, Alan, and you're so blessed, and they're blessed to have you as a granddad. I mean, I really mean that.
I'm very lucky and blessed with your friendship and with the grandkids of my family. Hey, bless you guys. We'll do it again. And Sky, you got me again on your T-shirt. You're
not going to win, Alan. You're not going to win. I can tell you're fighting a battle that you're not going to win, because I got a plethora of T-shirts in my arsenal.
Plethora.
So yeah, right. So
Kenny, I don't think I have a prayer either, but I'm not going to admit it. Hey guys, have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. This was just radio gold. This was radio gold.
You guys are the best, man. I enjoy both of you guys. Love both of you guys. Much respect, and we will do it soon.
Yeah, much love. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Alan.
Bless you guys. What a joy. What a joy just hanging out and talking with Sky. And Kenny Rice and I are non-Sky.
I was going to say, what does that make us, dirt?
The sky is the limit.
That's right.
Okay. The sky's the limit with Kenny Sky, not with Rice and Cutler. Which, by the way, Rice and Cutler sounds like a really bad law firm.
Yeah, no, we get sued. It's crazy.
That's unbelievable. We have to hire another lawyer to protect us. I am super late. Bless you guys. I appreciate you both tremendously. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wow, that was fun. Olivia sent me a note that somebody said we should have the Kenny and Alan show. That would be special. That would be very, 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 very special. There's no question about that. Woo-wee. Can you imagine doing this every day? And the stories And I tell you what, acupuncture, Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914, acupuncture. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, Ramon. He is special, special, special. He's helped me tremendously. If acupuncture isn't something that was in your mindset, and it really wasn't for me about 15 years ago, consider changing your mindset because of what it can do for your health. Acupuncture, and Ramon is great at it, and he's a very special man. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Jenna Lipson's coming up next. Jenna, thank you for your patience. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313, 859-381-1313.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Ready to feel the surge? Good, because Cadillac didn't come to play. At Quantrell Cadillac, this is power redefined. All-electric speed or gas-fed adrenaline, built to move, built to lead. Right now, get in with financing as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months on select models. No limits, no apologies. Just drive. Check them out. I love the Cadillacs. QuantrellCadillac.com. See dealer for details.
Matt and Myron with Kentucky's own Matt Jones. Weekdays 3 to 5 on ESPN 92.5 and 1300. Now that's sports radio. Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. That was Radio Gold with Kenny Skywalker and Kenny Rice. We will have to do that again. This young lady is setting the world on fire. First, she's an intern with NBC Sports. Then she's on the Paul Feinbaum Show. I was only on the Paul Feinbaum Show one time. She's already matched me. Sports editor of the Colonel. She's going all over the place and is going places. So, Jenna Lifson, one, you cover Kentucky, but two, you've had a heck of a summer.
Yeah, it's been a very long summer, but a very good one. NBC, you can't trade that experience for the world, but it is true. There is nothing like the SEC. So I'm very happy to be back in Lexington ahead of Kentucky's super exciting football season, and happy to be back talking to you.
Okay, so one, thanks for joining us. What is the number one question you have, and the number one thing you're saying, I know they're going to be able to do this with Kentucky football as the opener is almost here?
The biggest question, there's so many, because I think the team itself is a big question, right? Like, you only learn so much about a team through practices, through film, through all of this summer preseason work. And when you have a team that has so many transfers on it, or just operating under a new head coach and a new system no one has seen before, I think the team itself is a giant question mark. But I do think what I know for sure is that the level of energy that is going to be in Kroger Field this year is going to be like nothing we have seen in a long time, or at least since I have been at school here. And it's going to be a really, really fun season.
I think it will be too, and I think what's going to happen is that the truth is we don't know. I mean, we just don't know. There's going to be some of the players that really haven't been talked about who will end up blossoming like crazy because we didn't know. And there might be a couple of positions where you thought somebody would produce and they might not. There's also a concern that some of the guys, I'm not going to say they babied. I think that's too strong. I think they were prudent because they've had injuries. They were being cautious because they wanted to play in September, weren't worrying about spring, and we don't know how they're going to do. You got some really talented people that haven't been on the field for a long time, and probably one or two will be a pleasant surprise, and one or two, I'm going to guess, might not be ready. I mean, but we don't know. So to me, this is the we don't know with all the lovely hot air around the football team. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it's something we're going to just see in this new NIL era. There's going to be less and less knowing ahead of the season in years past when you know you have bulk of your team returning, it's a little easier to gauge what you might be expecting, but this is just a new era of college sports and it's not just football. I mean, it's basketball, it's everything. You're getting new guys every single year and seeing how, coaches are able to respond to that and adapt their teams to fit these new guys is going to be really important. But Wolstein had to start, from the bottom up. He had to rebuild this program. And I do agree, it's just unfortunate for Kentucky in the sense of how hard their schedule is early on, that there isn't really time that they might have had in years past to kind of figure out the kinks. When you're playing Alabama week 2, that's a game you have to be prepared for. And if you only have one game ahead of that, you better hope summer has been working really well for you. So I do think these early tests are going to be hard for Kentucky, but I think it is going to pay off.
I'm disagreeing a little bit with you, if that's okay, and with everybody about the schedule. You're in the SEC, so it's tough. And this has nothing to do with, I've been screaming, don't complain about the schedule. You're in the SEC. If you don't like it, go to the ACC. But here's my other point. Nobody's sure how good Alabama's quarterback is going to be. And it's possible whoever that quarterback is might be better by game 9 or 10. And I actually think it's fortuitous in a really good way for Kentucky playing Alabama in the second game, because even though Minchie is new, yes, but it's his job, whereas they've been battling in Alabama for a job. And I just think I would much rather play Alabama in game 2 than in game 10. So I think that actually helps Kentucky a little bit. That, sometimes it depends when and the schedule's the schedule. But that's just me,
No, I agree with the Alabama. I do think, like, with a team that is still figuring out so much, if we have to play Alabama, playing them week 2 is going to be a really good opportunity. And I think that's one of the games that you really have to capitalize on and try and, get people to start paying attention to Kentucky football. And I think they have the perfect opportunity to do so. And in regards to the schedule, every year is going to be hard. I think for me, it's more in the sense of the order in which you play. Having to play Bama and then going to A&M back to back is really tough. And I do think there's just a lot of really good talent in the SEC. There is every year, but especially this year, we're just going to see a level of the SEC where, it's not just going to be the Georgia, the Texas, the Alabama. It's not just going to be 2, 3, 4 teams that are really good. I think you're going to see a lot more teams competing at a really high level. And that's what makes the SEC so special. And that's what makes it fun to watch too. You don't want to be playing teams that you're going to blow out every week. That's not fun to watch. You want to watch these battles. So I do think, the Bama game specifically, it is the best opportunity to beat a team like that, a program Kentucky has not beaten so long, and just really set the tone for the rest of the season.
As crazy as it sounds, you beat Bama, not an easy task, obviously, and you could be 3-1. And then you're saying to yourself, can I get 3 more wins to get to a bowl game, which won't be easy? But, Vandy, South Carolina, Louisville, there are teams that are beatable. You're just going to have to do it. So to me, the Alabama game, I don't know what's going to be the biggest game of the year, but it's going to be humongous because not only will it be for confidence, but setting them up with a possibility where these kids can feel the tangibility of possibly making a bowl game. Because if they would start the season, they're 2-2, then 2-3, and maybe 2-4, and then 2-5 going into Vandy, it's legitimate to be concerned about how the confidence of these kids would be and keeping their confidence up. And it's not just because it's Kentucky, it would be tons of programs.
Absolutely. And I think when Will Stein coming to Kentucky when he did, there is this sense of kind of you want to bring back those moments, the Ole Miss game on the road, the beating, those games that Mark Stoops would have once or twice a year that are really good. The earlier you can get one of those games under your belt, the more you're going to get Big Blue Nation to buy in. And that's what they really need for all of the games they're hosting, especially games like LSU. You need to make Kroger Field the hardest place to play. And players have said it. It's not an easy place to play. And it's not because of the size. It's not a Kyle Field. It's not a Darrell K. Royal. It's Kroger, but it's the fans, it's the energy that is brought to that stadium that makes it so hard to play in. And the reason that you're having players at SEC Media Day say Kentucky is one of the hardest places to play. No one really talks about it, but it is. It's a battle. It's hard. fan base is really, really loud and really, really rowdy. And the earlier you can get this fan base bought in to where they're selling out every single game, you got your student section filled to capacity, the better it's going to play out for them. And I just think in general, when you're trying to, bring up this football program, when you're starting to charge more for tickets, when you're asking for all this NIL stuff and the way that this new college sports landscape's adapting, that is going to require people to literally buy in, literally help fund these programs. You need to give them a reason to do so. And I think Bama, once again, you get a win early on, you're going to get people bought in for the rest of the season.
You beat Bama, or let's say it's really close in the fourth quarter and you beat Bama. It will, I don't know if it'll be louder. This is before your time when Kentucky upset LSU when they were number one. It might be close to that. I can see the place going crazy and a lot of people losing their voices. Jenna, thank you. Thank you. Give yourself a great plug for everything you're doing.
Thank you so much. It's always good talking to you.
Give yourself a plug with what you're doing.
Oh, literal applause?
Yeah. No, plug for your right.
Plug. I thought you said applause. I was like, okay. I'm
okay.
Jennifer.
Jennifer, if you want to give yourself applause,
I can do that too, right? My Twitter's at Jen's Reporting. That's really what I'm most active on and posting on. I like to be on there daily and answering DMs and whatnot. So that's the best place to reach me and follow all my work.
Look, thank you, and just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right path, and the path will continue to blossom for you. So thank you very much.
I appreciate everything, Alan. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful future ahead of her. There's no question about it. Who's ever going to be her agent is going to make some money. She's just on her way. Terry Page, Terry Page. Not a very good, as I love to say, because it's true. A great licensed massage therapist. Check her out, 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578 in Butler, Kentucky, Monday and Tuesday, Lexington, Thursday and Friday. Text her, call her to get an appointment. She's a great healer. She's been wonderful for me. Just absolutely wonderful. Kenny Rice, Kenny Walker, Jenna Lifskin, Craig Skinner, and then coming up, the Hall of Famer, Hal McCoy. What a fun show. What joy doing this. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Driving should feel personal, protected, centered, completely at ease the moment you pull onto the road. That's the Volvo difference. Thoughtful design, quiet confidence, and safety always working in the background so you can simply breathe and drive. Plus, the luxury of Volvo is more within reach than expected. That's why Volvo deserves your first look. At Quattro Volvo, friends, Brentley and Mark, they have built a dealership that's calm, respectful, and genuinely helpful. Right now, get 1.99% APR for up to 60 months on most 2026 models. See dealer for details. Visit QuattroVolvo.com today.
Alan Cutler, Brad Taylor, Matt Jones, Myron Metcalf, Wildcat Drive. With that lineup, why would you go anywhere else? Weekdays starting at noon on ESPN 92.5 and 1300. Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Hal McCoy is always prompt. We got voicemail. We will try back again. I love talking to Hal. One of my favorite people, literally. Not just doing the show, but his knowledge of baseball, his stories, and the joy of talking to him. It's absolutely off the charts, so we will continue to do that. We'll switch gears. I know Olivia's going to try him in a second, but do you have that Sam Green clip number 2 ready? You do. That is fast. So we started the show playing a Sam Green comment where he talked about the obvious, and I really like the soundbite because, put yourself in his shoes. Kid's like 19 years old. I'm not sure how old he is. I'm guessing 19, 20, whatever it is. And he was playing his best ball, no question about it. And he started showing flashes of being a big-time football player for Kentucky. And it wasn't easy transferring from USC to here. It's big changes, new defense, different world, the whole kind of thing. And it took a while to adjust, which happens so often that it's not even funny. So he's very honest. Clip number 2, Sam Green talking about transferring from USC to Kentucky. Was it easy?
It was hard. I say it was hard. Just coming in and learning why these SEC teams run certain type of schemes, and just playing the best of my ability, on and off the field. You could get by a little bit of plays without watching film, but that little film that you miss, you gonna regret it after the game. Damn, I knew that was coming.
So it was difficult for him at
times. I'm
times.
stressing it a lot more. So I feel like it's been great for me for sure.
Okay, a little pause in the soundbite. It happens. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost like a drum roll. We can't say Hal McCoy is on the air.
Baseball, Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella.
Hal, I'm sorry, you can't come on the air until I play the song. Olivia plays the song.
I know. I was disappointed. I was disappointed when I didn't hear it at first.
Oh, all good. You can blame me for that. We're doing a little juggling here, and I'm not a good juggler, so it's all good. It's all good. How are you, buddy? How's your health? What's going on?
I'm doing great. Same old, same old. Just watching a bad baseball team. That everything else is great.
Life is great, and the Reds suck. Is that putting it too mildly?
That's putting it in a nutshell, and it's very correct.
So you have done a wonderful job pointing out some statistics, which are, it's amazing how bad they are. But this last one, I don't know if this is worse than the Reds being last hitting with runners in scoring position, or the fact in the last 10 games, they've only scored one run or less 6 times. How could you do that? Are they going to the plate with toothpicks?
I think they're going to the plate with balsa wood. It doesn't matter. They're taking bats to the plate for no apparent reason. It's just unbelievable.
It really is unbelievable. CES and Encarnacion, they dump them when it looked like early on they had potential, and they went into slump. And it took him a while to get back to the big leagues, but I think he's only 26. Well, the Orioles call him up, as you know, and since he's been up in the big club, he's leading the team in the time period he's been there. He's leading the team in RBIs. And over the course of 162 games, if he was going to play, and he got in late, but I always like to average it out to 162 games, he'd have like 140 RBIs. I'm not suggesting he get 140 RBIs. And maybe the American League will catch up to him, although they've got scouting reports and stuff like that. But, they desperately need hitting. They had him, and they quit on him.
That's the thing. He's playing every day in Baltimore, and he wasn't playing every day in Cincinnati. And that's one criticism I do have of Tito Francona. His lineups change so much. Guys don't, younger players don't get to play every day. They got Hector Rodriguez now. He was playing before. Now he's in and out of the lineup, and they can't get any timing or establish themselves. They wonder when they're going to play, and a lot of times they wonder where they're going to play. It just kind of boggles my mind that they treat players that way, and they go somewhere else and they get to play every day and they shine.
Is that a Francona thing? Is it a Reds thing? Does he just like to platoon too often? So I couldn't agree with you more. You bring up a kid and you don't want to play him 2 days and sit 2 days. Just play him. Just play him. And they're gonna fall on their face. That's all part of it, but you have to get comfortable. Like with the Yankees, he's not there yet. Spencer Jones, because of an injury, he came up and he was not very good. They sent him back to the minors. He was doing well, and now he's doing better than he was before. He's not there yet. But I saw an interview he did about a week ago, and he said, I'm finally getting comfortable because I know my name's going to be in the lineup. And you can tell by his body language, he looks more comfortable. Now, I don't know if he's going to end up being the star that he was in the minor leagues. I don't know that, but he's got the potential. But he's not swinging super hard at everything. And you can look at his body, and you can tell he's more relaxed. Rodriguez was big time in the minor leagues. Why don't they just play him every day?
I know, and you're right about body language says a lot. You can sit and watch them at the plate, watch the way they are playing, and the body language says a lot about their confidence. And I see that in Rodriguez. That seemed to have the confidence, like you say, because he doesn't play every day, and he should. I mean, look what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing with Joshua Baez. He hits 3 home runs in his first 3 at-bats in the majors. Now he's going 0 for 18 with 7 strikeouts, but they're keeping him in there. I mean, the kid has all the talent in the world, hit 34 home runs in AAA. He's going to come around. I mean, he's hit a couple of balls hard that were caught against the Reds, but the Cardinals are keeping him in the lineup, and I'm sure they will probably the rest of the year.
Hal, I don't know what the craziest stat I've ever seen. I'm not suggesting this is it. It's one of the oddest stats I have ever seen. And if you think it's one of the oddest stats you've ever seen, since how many years now have you covered the Reds?
54, 53, something like that.
Yeah, you know, it's a good thing you can't keep a steady job. For a team that can't win half their games, when Dane Myers plays, they are 52-37. That's crazy.
It is crazy, and the kid can do it all. I mean, hit the big home run to tie the game the other night, runs against the wall to make catches. And I don't know how accurate it was, but they said that his throw home last night was 103 miles an hour. I mean, there isn't anything the kid can't do. And he's a guy that he's like Sal Stewart. He has exuberance, excitement. You can tell he loves to play the game. And that's another case. Every once in a while, Tito takes him out of the lineup and sticks T.J. Friedel in there. That just boggles my mind. I mean, Friedel right now doesn't even belong on the team. And still, Tito is so, I think he's so attached to his players that he tries to keep everybody happy. And that doesn't work when you have a losing team, and they're going nowhere now. He should start playing the younger players and leave them in there, let them play, because they're 7.5 games out of the wild card, and they're going nowhere.
I think I ran this by you the first summer under Tito, and tell me if my theory is crazy. Because he was an extra player, I think he has an affinity for extra players because he feels bad for them because of what he went through. And I think if that's true, that's BS. Managed to win the game. Now, I'm not suggesting he's not managed to win the game, but his heart is too strong for the Friedels, who, by the way, is it true he hasn't gotten a base hit since the All-Star break? And why is he on the team? And by the way,
Exactly.
He's not that good of a center fielder. He doesn't have a lot of range. He's a AAA player. And he's
he makes some good catches, but that's because he has to try to outrun the ball to catch up with balls that a guy like Myers catches routinely. So, and he doesn't have the strong arm. I mean, he's a left fielder, if anything, and they're playing him in center field. Yep.
We agree. Okay, so you know Joey Votto 100 times better than I do. And I'm sure you saw the soundbite on the MLB network where
I wrote about it in my blog today.
Well, I apologize for not seeing your blog. I normally do every day. I had to go to the DOCTOR, and I'm going to a different kind of DOCTOR after the show. So when I'm in the waiting room for an hour and a half, I'll read it. And I mean the waiting room for an hour and a half. So I apologize.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Matter of fact, how about you make an appointment and they say you could wait for up to 2 hours? So I said, can I come in later?
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there's no show tomorrow because of the Reds. Otherwise, I could work on the show for tomorrow. But there's no show.
Yeah, there you go.
I could do something. Anyway, neither here nor there. The soundbite he said, and you help me with this. I think there's an honesty and shyness with Votto at the same time, that he doesn't want to step on toes. And I had a couple people hit me up saying, did he really mean it? I think he did, but he's being too respectful to the Reds organization when, Brian Kenny asked him, would you like to be basically general manager of the Reds? And he would said yes. And this goofy thing is he's such a smart, logical guy, and he would be a great hitting coach. I think he could do a better job. That sounds stupid maybe, but I think, I know you and I could do a better job. I think he could do a better job.
I think he's dead serious. Number one, they asked him if he wanted to come back into the game as a manager or a coach, and he said no. I'm not interested in flying around the country, and I'm not interested in working in the minor leagues with hitters. And then they said, well, how about the front office? And he said, if the Reds would ask me, I would be general manager. And he's dead serious. And in my blog, I said, what are they waiting for? I know they have his phone number. Call him now.
I will read your blog by 3:00 in the afternoon when I'm sitting in waiting. I'll probably be able to read it about 20 times. As goofy as it sounds, he really is such a smart, thoughtful man who, in the sound bites that I have watched him through the years, he's really smart. But you tell me, am I stretching it? And I'm not saying because he was a star. I'm saying just because of the person he seems to be, and he's a people person, and he's caring, but he's not afraid to make a decision. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with the Reds management. I don't think they can make a decision.
No, you're right. Joey is pretty much of an introvert, but like you say, he is very, very intelligent. And the fact that he would like to be general manager of the Reds kind of surprises me a little bit, because you don't know how much he would be able to do with them and how much money he's going to would have to work with. But he loves the Reds, as he said. He says he will always be a Cincinnati Red, and if he wants to be general manager, I'm hiring him.
Me too. We don't even do an interview. I guess you do philosophy, minor leagues, and those kinds of stuff. So as you pointed out, Hal, this is, I believe, from your column before that I copied and pasted. 327 players on 30 major league teams with more than 150 plate appearances. Hayes, and I hated the trade when they made it. I knew he wouldn't hit. I didn't know. Nobody knew he hit this bad. His OPS is 425. Is dead last, 327. The guy that's next to last, Friedel at 326. How the hell can you play these?
Isn't that amazing? That is absolutely amazing. I know, and they have players that they can play at third base. Suarez could play there, although he's been a big disappointment with the bat also. But, Sal Stewart can play there. You don't have to play that guy. And I've seen Stewart play third base, and he is very good. I don't know, as good as Brian Hayes is at third base, and he is sensational. He's an automatic out. I mean, when you're hitting 143, you're just giving up and out every time he comes to bat nearly.
Al, in the good old days when pitchers hit, there probably were a bunch of pitchers. Warren Spahn hit a bunch of home runs. There probably were a bunch of pitchers in the good old days that could hit better than Brian Hayes. Am I being nasty, or is this the truth?
No, you're being absolutely correct. I mean, when Don Gullett pitched for the Reds, he could hit. I've seen a lot of pitchers that could hit. And Mike Lorenzen, who was a pitcher and a fielder at times, he could hit. If pitchers could still hit, Brian Hayes would probably hit ninth, and the pitcher would hit eighth.
There are two stories in this from your columns. Francona sends up T.J. Friedel with his 164 batting average up to pinch hit for Brian Hayes, whose batting average is like 26 points less. As quickly as you can say Tinkers to Evers to Chance, one of the great double play combinations of all time, Friedel hit into that 4-6-3 double play. There was nobody else to put at the plate. I know lefty, righty, but a guy who hadn't gotten a hit from the All-Star break, batting 164. Is there something wrong with Tito? Is he overrated as a manager? I know he's going to the Hall of Fame. I know he's a great people person, but is Father Time catching up to him, or does he just have no options?
I think it's no options, and I think he is trying everything. When he sent Friedel up, he didn't have too many options left on the bench at the time, and it was the old left-right thing. But when you hit like Hayes and you hit like Friedel, it doesn't matter which arm the pitcher's throwing with; they can't hit. And I noticed with Friedel, he either strikes out or hits a ground ball. He doesn't even get the ball into the outfield.
Okay, Tinkers to Everest the Chance. When I was a kid and reading baseball stories, they were like glorified as one of the first great double play combinations and all that kind of stuff. And then you had in your column, this is, I believe you, but it's tough to believe. Tell the story about how they didn't talk to each other for forever, even though they played baseball together forever and were a great double play combination, and the stupidity of the story. This is a great story, Hal.
It is a great story, and I had not heard it until I found it and put it in my blog. They were, the great Tinkers to Everest the Chance. Well, one day at a hotel, I think it was Johnny Evers left, and Joe Tinker was in the hotel, and he left him, took a taxi cab and went to the ballpark, and the other guy was very unhappy and didn't speak, and he didn't speak for over 30 years. Played on the field together and never spoke off the field, never spoke on the field.
How many years?
I don't know how that could be possible. Well, I think it happened I think they said it happened in 1905, and they did not speak until 1930. It was after they retired. So they finished their careers not speaking.
That's just, and I want to end
with mind, doesn't it?
It really does. I love this one. We're going to switch to your favorite team, the Cleveland Browns. Okay, I want to tell you, when I read this, I literally laughed out loud. I'm going to just set it up, but you take the punchline. It's your story. The Cleveland Browns practice was disrupted this week when a white substance was found on the field. Nobody on the Browns knew what it was, and as you sarcastically say, the FBI was summoned. Take the story from there, Hal.
They discovered it was the goal line. Pretty nasty, huh?
I think it's hysterical. I mean, is Tim Couch the last quarterback they had, and they didn't even get offensive linemen to protect him so he get the crap beat out of him? Before that, was it Brian Sipe, and before that was Dr. Frank Ryan? You surprised I know that?
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised. You're very informed in your sports.
I can't believe that the Browns are as bad as they are. I just and this is not like because I did the Bengals for 14 years, hosted the network. This is not I hate the Browns because I was working for and with the Bengals, depending upon which tenure it was. How could any franchise be that bad?
I know it's just unbelievable. And I mean, look what Baker Mayfield is doing, and they got rid of him. And then they signed the worst contract in the history of mankind with the quarterback that they insist on playing. I'm not even going to say his name. He upsets me so much.
I won't say Watson's name either. And guaranteed $250 million. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Yes, you don't have to do that in the NFL.
Oh,
but
guaranteed.
They did.
I
know.
The show's over. Bless you, Hal. Thank you for joining me as always. I will read your column this afternoon. Folks, if you don't read his column on Facebook, I can't help you. It's not just Reds, but all these stories that he has about the FBI and the Browns and the white substance. That's a beautiful thing. Happy health. God bless you. I hope you can carve out a little time next week.
I certainly will, and enjoy yourself in the doctor's office. Been there, done that.
I had 2 today. Thank God it's not 2 every day. This is a rare occurrence, but 2 today.
Oh, boy.
No, it's all. I think it's all good. Anyway, bless you, Hal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Take care.
Hal McCoy, the great Hal McCoy. Whew. What a day. Craig Skinner, Kenny Rice, Kenny Skywalker, Jenna Lifshin, Hal McCoy. Wow. No show tomorrow. Reds baseball. See you on Friday. Got some wonderful guests lined up next week from Art Still, Dan Issel, and a cast of 1,000. Olivia, thank you so much. Have yourself a great day. Brad Taylor coming up next. Wildcat Drive at 5. Matt Jones with Myron at 3 o'clock. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
The Alan Cutler Show on ESPN 92.5 and 1300 AM and on the ESPN Lexington app. Presented by Republic Bank.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line 859-381-13.
Okay. When you're ready.
You doing all right?
Yo, yeah.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler at 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. After no show on Thursday because it Reds. No, don't do it that way. Hi, this is Alan Cutler at 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. After no show on Thursday because of the Reds. On Friday, a cast of thousands. Nick Roush, Steve Stewart. One of the amazing. Oh, man, what's wrong with me? Hi, this is Alan Cutler at 1300 AM and 92.5 FM, usually Monday through Friday from 12 to 2. No show on Thursday because of the Reds. On Friday, we'll talk some football with the one, the only Nick Roush. See you then.
That'll work.
Thanks, dude.
All right. See you
See
Friday.
you.